It's grammar time. Nouns and pronouns acting as indirect objects. Now, we've done several videos where we've talked about the different ways that nouns and pronouns can act. We're going to put links to those in the description because this video assumes you know how to find the verb, the subject, and any prepositional phrases along with predicate nominatives. So we're going to focus primarily on step number 3, where we're identifying indirect objects after we've identified any direct objects in a sentence. Now you should know that an indirect object requires two things. The verb must be an action verb, and there must also be a direct object in order for there to be an indirect object. So, let's look at this simple sentence. I gave John pizza. In this sentence, because we don't have any prepositional phrases, our first step is going to be to identify the verb. In this case, it is the action verb gave. Following that, we ask ourselves the question, who gave, in order to determine the subject of the sentence. In this case, who gave? I. I gave. Now, direct objects, if you remember, answer the question who or what. So we say the subject followed by the verb followed by the question who or what. I gave who or what? I gave pizza. Indirect objects answer the question to or for whom. So the way I like to find the indirect object in a sentence, I start with the same thing we did for the direct object. I start with the subject, followed by the verb, followed by who or what, and then I add to or for whom. So here we go. I gave. I gave what? Pizza. I gave pizza to or for whom? John. And John is our indirect object. Indirect objects can be compound. Let's take this simple sentence. I gave John and Emily pizza and chips. So if we solve this, we first find our verb. The verb is the action verb gave. So we know that we can be looking for indirect objects and direct objects. Then I ask the question, who gave? I. I is our subject. I gave what? I gave pizza and chips. Those are our direct objects. I gave pizza and chips to or for whom? I gave them to John and Emily. That makes John and Emily our compound indirect objects. Pronouns work the same way. Let's take this sentence. I gave them pizza and chips. Just like the sentence we solved, we look for the verb. The verb is gave. It's an action verb. Who gave? I gave. I is the subject. I gave what? I gave pizza and chips. So those are our direct objects. I gave pizza and chips to or for whom? I gave pizza chips to them. Therefore, them is the indirect object. And now you know the formula for finding the indirect object because you are the expert.